Hello, my name's Stuart Parkinson. I'm from the Church of Scientology Mission of Bournemouth, which is actually in the town of Poole on the south coast of the UK. And this evening I'm going to give you a very brief talk about the tone scale. To give it its full title, it would be the emotional tone scale, because what it does, it plots the range of human emotions from sad, if you like, down at the bottom, up to happy at the top. Now this is obviously quite an oversimplification of it because there's a lot in between. And what we can do is fill in the middle bits. There's actually a lot more than are on here, but these are the major waypoints between sad at the bottom and happy at the top. So we're going to have a quick look at these. A person who is enthusiastic is full of energy, keen on life. They're going for things. They've got goals. They know what they want, they're heading towards them, and they are moving towards them, they are achieving their goals, and they're very happy about it. They are enthusiastic, full of life. Now, if you take an enthusiastic person and you blunt his enthusiasm a little bit, you put a few barriers in the way, he comes along and he says, hey, I've got this great idea, we're going to do this thing, and you go, well, yeah, but if you thought about this, you'll knock him back a little bit. And now he's not quite so enthusiastic. He's cheerful. He's still cheerful. He still has his goals. He's still heading towards them. He's still making headway. He's doing all right. However, should he meet more barriers, should it prove to be, hard work, his cheerfulness might also get knocked back a little bit, and he becomes a little bit more bored. He's not quite as enthusiastic. He's not really going for it. He's heading in that direction. He still has this idea of a goal that he wants to reach, but he's not really making much headway anymore. He's bored, he's just a little bit careless of his progress now. However, should he run into more barriers in life, or should he run into things that are threatening him in life, then he becomes a little bit miffed. He becomes a little bit annoyed or cross or antagonistic to those things. So a person comes down into a level of antagonism where he's starting to be grumpy about stuff because he's seeing his goal and his goal is being threatened. The things that he wants in life, what he wants to achieve, what he wants to do, whatever it might be, is not looking so real to him anymore. He had his heart set on this thing, now it looks like he's not going to get it, and he gets a bit upset about it. In fact, if it becomes quite obvious to him that this goal or this thing that he's trying to achieve is actually being threatened, he will become angry. He will start wanting to fight against it. All right? Anger is the emotional tone at which a person is fighting against the barriers, the blocks that are stopping him achieving his goal, whatever that goal might be. Now, if a person is fighting against those things and realizes that they are losing, then they start getting worried. They come down again into this level of fear. They become afraid of whatever it is that is blocking their progress, whether it's another person or the elements or whatever it might be. A person has tried fighting against it, has not won, and now becomes a little bit worried. They can see their goals slipping away. This thing that they're trying to achieve at this point in life is no longer that real to them, and they're worried they're not going to achieve it. At the point that a person realizes he's not going to achieve it, that he has lost that goal, or at the point somebody realizes they have lost something that's important to them, a person, a job, a position, a possession, the person becomes upset. They've entered the tone level of grief. They cry, they get upset, that sort of thing. And if a person doesn't move up from there, eventually they will move down into this level here, apathy, which is the tone level of no hope. A person has just given up on life. They can't be bothered anymore. They've just, that's it. Okay. So that's at the bottom. The next one below apathy, incidentally, I haven't put it on the chart here, but you can't get much lower than that before you're dead. So that is a brief summary of the scale of emotions. Now, what use is this to us? Well, people act in very definite and predictable ways depending on what tone level they are in. It's pretty obvious when you see somebody who's enthusiastic and cheerful, you know what to expect from them. When you see somebody who's angry, you know what to expect from them. You're not going to go up to a person who's very angry, who is just in the middle of an argument with somebody else and go, "Hey Jim, fancy coming down to the pub," or "fancy going to see the match," or something like that, because you're liable to get an earful. So when people move up and down according to what's going on in their lives right this minute, it's very easy to see what tone level they're at, and it's very easy to have a pretty good guess about how they're going to react in any particular situation. However, if just left to their own devices, people tend to gravitate to a particular level. There is a level that every person has that they are most comfortable with, that they tend to sit at most of the time. Good things happen in life and they come up from that. Bad things happen to them, they come down from that, and they bob around, but left to their own devices, people have what's called a chronic tone level. A chronic level is the level that they are in most of the time. Now, people tend to cover up their chronic level. You see, a person might be in fear or grief or something like that, because he's got some situation at home, he's getting divorced from his wife. He's really cut up about it, he's really unhappy about it, and he cries himself to sleep most evenings, that sort of thing. Comes into work in the morning and the guys go, "Hey Bob, how you doing?" And Bob goes, "Oh yeah, I'm fine, thanks." And he puts on a brave front, and he puts on this social veneer that covers up what's going on inside. And people have this, they are very, very well trained in this society to cover everything up, especially if you're British, stiff upper lip and all that, and they don't show what's really going on inside. So it's not always easy to tell what a person's chronic tone level is. However, it is important to know, because when you understand a person's chronic tone level, you'll know whether you can trust that person. You'll know how good a friend they're going to be, or how good an employee they're going to be. You see, people who are enthusiastic or cheerful about things are usually pretty good friends, pretty trustworthy. You can pretty much expect to hear the truth coming out of their mouths. If you talk to somebody who's angry, 9 times out of 10 what comes out of their mouth is not going to be terribly truthful. It's going to be an exaggeration of whatever it is they're angry about. Whatever person they're angry with is just going to be the pits, man. I mean, they're going to be like right down on that person, and you're not going to hear a good word about them. Now that's not honest conversation. A person who's afraid is not trustworthy. If you give a person who's afraid a job or a task that must get done, and they go along and they do it, and the first time they hit into some opposition, or somebody comes along and says, "No, you can't do that," they'll buckle under, they'll run away, they won't fight it. So when you understand where a person is at on the tone scale, then you can understand what to expect from them. You can predict their behaviour much, much better than if you didn't know. There's plenty to know about this. There is a chapter on the Scientology Handbook Tools for Life DVD. That chapter is on our website. If it's not at the moment, it will be very shortly. It's called The Emotional Tone Scale. You can have a look at that. It tells you a little bit about it. If you're in the Poole area, you can come in and do a course. This one is called Knowing Who You Can Trust. There's a lot about the tone scale in here, as well as a few other things, because when you understand where somebody's at, you know how trustworthy they're going to be. There's a book written all about the tone scale in excruciating detail. It's called Science of Survival, and it very literally is your science of survival in life. That goes into immense detail about the different tone levels and about how people act at those different tone levels in different areas of life. In fact, there is a whole chart entitled The Hubbard Chart of Human Evaluation. And just to give you a little peek, you get an idea there. Of how much is in there. Okay, so that's just a very quick briefing on the tone scale. I hope you found it interesting. I If you are interested, then like I say, have a look on our website, watch the little video, get a copy of the book and read it, go to the library, buy it from the website, come in and do a course, get in touch with us, ask questions, that sort of thing. We're here to help. Hope you've enjoyed yourself, hope you found it interesting. Thank you for joining me.